Hello food fans, going to have a very low cost but nutritious and big lunch, or it could be a supper or a late night snack. Going to have, for the main ingredient, going to have macaroni and cheese, 7¼ ounce package of macaroni and cheese from Aldi's, and I bought that just a couple of days ago for 34 cents. 34 cents. Just imagine you have 3 lunches for $1 if you just ate the macaroni and cheese and didn't add the tuna. I'm going to have chunk light tuna in oil. This also came from Aldi's. This was 71 cents. So for about $1.05, we'll have a basic lunch. I'm going to add a salad to it. That'd probably be about 30 cents. And I also will add a secret dessert later on. So let's get started. We have some water which should be boiling by now. Probably be a lot of steam come out. We're going to add the macaroni to the water. Put the lid down over here and pour in the macaroni and cheese. Actually just the macaroni. The cheese will be added later. I will soften up the macaroni in the water. There's a little bit of water left in there to keep the macaroni from sticking to the pan. I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm using the vegetable oil. You can use butter or margarine, just a teeny weeny bit there, like a big soup spoon full. And I'm going to add some milk. You can use either whole milk, non-fat milk, 2% milk. I'm using the non-fat dry milk mixed with water. I got a little bit of milk there. And I'm going to put in the next ingredient, which is the tuna with oil. Got plenty of oil in there. That's fish oil, but I think it's vegetable oil actually. I believe they put vegetable oil in this now. Used to be a time when fish was packaged with the oil from the fish, but that was then. And this is now, and we have lots of good tuna, and for 71 cents it's still somewhat of a bargain. And I will be stirring that and getting it ready to serve. And I will be adding the cheese that comes in the package to the mix. And it looks good, and it looks hot. There's a little bit of steam still coming from this, and I put some pepper in there, just regular pepper. I don't add salt to the meal. According to the box here, sodium content is 25% of what I guess an average adult needs. But the tuna adds another, I think, 15%, so we're almost halfway to our daily requirement, and that is steaming and hot. Keep the kids away from the hot things and the sharp things in the kitchen, parents. And I'll mix up some of my salad. This is my regular salad, in case we have some new subscribers here. The salad is cabbage, carrots, and tomatoes, and mayonnaise, and relish, and ketchup. I'll take a little bite of this. It's trying to get away. It does not want to be consumed at this time, but it has no choice. And the low cost of the macaroni and cheese, I don't know how long that will last at 34 cents. A couple of days ago at Aldi's, that was the price. And the root beer comes from Kroger for 79 cents for 2 liters. I like my macaroni to be a little bit more firm textured than most people. A lot of people like their macaroni to be cooked for about 20 minutes or so. And I would guess there's plenty of good nutrition here. Have calcium with the cheese and the milk that's in the macaroni and cheese. And the tuna would add protein, as well as the cheese would add protein. But I don't really know. Get the knife out of here. There's a train going by. That train is about 2 blocks away. Sometimes you'll hear a train whistle. When you hear the train whistle in my videos, that's about 2 miles away. And you'll hear the train whistle more louder, more volume when it's raining outside. I'll get a little bit of root beer before I tell the story. Tell a story about Jason Robards and his movies, Jason Robards Jr. I worked one of his movies, Melvin and Howard, that was 1979, I worked on that. I worked another one of his movies, Max Dugan Returns, sometime in the early 80s, but also in the early 1980s worked a Jason Robards movie called Something Wicked, This Way Comes. And I've never seen Jason Robards in person. Worked 3 of his movies and just happened not to be in scenes that he was in. I got a call one time to work on a movie called Magnolia. It was a Tom Cruise movie. And I reported for the movie, and they had the extras, myself included, in a waiting area. I think it was a tent that they had put up on a lawn somewhere. They were going to do a scene with me playing at a piano bar. That was the plan. More salad. Cabbage. Cabbage is good. I have to finish off the cabbage and use the big spoon for the macaroni and cheese and tuna. So we were waiting in the waiting area of Magnolia to do my scene. Got overtime. Got paid a lot of money. But they never did the scene. They were running behind time or something and they just canceled the scene. And I have never seen Tom Cruise in person. I worked Bug Buster, a long day, very hot day in the San Fernando Valley. At a lodge type of building, like a huge log cabin home type of building. I think the outside temperature was 103 Fahrenheit that day. And it was hotter on the inside because they couldn't use air conditioning since it was making too much noise. And when they would do scenes, they had to turn off the air conditioning. And they turned on the hot lights. And Randy Quaid was the star of the movie. And I've never seen Randy Quaid. Sometimes when you're working as an extra, you'll meet or work with big stars, big directors. Other times you don't. Salad is history. Put the spoon, a little spoon away. Worked 2 days on a movie called The Border with Jack Nicholson. I rode around in a limousine with another extra. He and I were going to be doing a scene where I would be a lunch truck driver. Had lunch with Jack Nicholson. Got good overtime. Nice working conditions and all. And they never did the scene. So there are a lot of movies that I wasn't in that I got paid for being in. I was not in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, but I was paid for it. I was there to do a scene that they didn't do. I was paid to do a scene with Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon, I think was the title of the movie. I talked with Jim Carrey. He talked with me, but he was Andy Kaufman. Even when the camera was not rolling, he was in his Andy Kaufman personality. They never did the scene. I was going to be a neighbor in an apartment building. I'm not sure what all it was about, but they didn't do it. We worked very close to the Chinese theater in Hollywood. Macaroni and cheese is good, and the tuna is quite good. The cans of tuna now are about 1 ounce smaller than they were back 10 years ago. The cost of food is going up, as you know, if you've been to a grocery store, supermarket. Aldi's canned food used to be 48 or 49 cents. Now I think it's 59 cents for cans of corn or green beans or peas or whatever. I'll talk about the movies that I worked in that were number two movies. I worked in Vacation 2. I'm going to get my little list here so I don't miss any of them. Sting 2. When we worked Sting 2, it was called The Next Sting. But when they released it, they called it Sting 2. 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 Sting. I worked Airplane 2. Psycho 2. Smokey and the Bandit 2. I worked Mel Brooks' movie To Be or Not to Be. Mel Brooks was fun. I'm glad he's still with us. And as far as I can tell, he's still having a good time. I just saw on the internet that Louis Anderson has passed away. I never worked with him. Of course, Bob Saget died a few days ago, and I never worked with him. I would guess that Mel Brooks is the oldest living person with whom I have worked who was a major celebrity. Time for some root beer. Macaroni and cheese, this whole meal, including the as yet not seen secret dessert, probably comes in under $2. Root beer is definitely my favorite cold beverage. For hot beverages, coffee I guess would be number one. For any of you who are new to this channel, I used to work as a movie extra. Background from late 70s up until 2006. I worked in more than 100 feature films, some of which were scenes I never did, but more than 100 feature films. I was there on the set, ready to do something in front of camera. I worked on more than 80 TV movies. I worked more than 145 total TV series. Some were half-hour series, some were one-hour series. Some of the shows I worked on, like Quincy and Hill Street Blues, I worked each of those more than 15 times. And some of those times were more than one day. I had more than 800 jobs in front of camera. And each job probably averaged out close to 2 days per job, maybe even more, because on Dear John we worked 5 days on most episodes. If there was a holiday that week, we worked 4 days. I worked a total of 90 episodes plus the pilot of Dear John. If you want to become an extra, the easiest way would be to have a vintage car or a limousine, a black Cadillac limousine, say 1965 or so. Then anytime they're making movies where this story takes place in the 1960s, you would be called to use your car. You also could use things like a Model A Ford would get you a certain amount of work every year. If you're in California, movie extras have their own wardrobe, special wardrobe, like police uniforms, sheriff's uniforms, nurse uniforms. Some have military uniforms. And the more wardrobe you have, the more different ways you can appear in a movie. Like for ladies who can do things to their hair to look like a 1940s person or a 1990s person or a 2020 person. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to say hello to people. Be a fun person. Don't do anything stupid. Let me grab across the table here. I'll finish the macaroni and cheese and tuna in a little bit, but our secret dessert is from Aldi's, and it's yogurt. This used to be 34 cents, now it's 39 cents. And where is the size low-fat yogurt? I don't know what size it is. Well, looks like about 4-ounce cup, so I'll write that on the side. It looks like a 4-ounce cup. And this is cherry yogurt, and it's good. And it should be healthful also. We had protein in the tuna, we had protein in the cheese, and we have protein in the dessert. This is all good. I wish you great success, and also I wish all of us a great 2022. Hopefully the end of the year will be a lot more fun than the beginning. Let me get some root beer. Thank you very much for watching.